Today is February 24th. Yankees spring training games are underway. We've got sewage, we've got new swings, we've got pitch mixes, and a ton of quotes from players. Let's talk Yanks.
Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme, and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talkin' Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake. Talkin' Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. BBD in the corner. Snow all over the ground in the Northeast. Not in Tampa. They played that game yesterday. It felt like I just shoveled for 2 hours, and they were like, beautiful day here in Tampa. Let's play some baseball. And I was like, you guys are sick. That's messed up. Made me mad. Jake, how are you?
James, Davis, Ellie, everyone tuning in. Okay. Like you mentioned, snowstorm of the century. It's fun seeing that, but then it's supposed to be in Florida with my mom, sister, and nephews right now, so a little bummed out by that. And JetBlue can go eat bugs. You know, I know publicly we usually try to stay out of the fray on that, but my God, just where we've gotten as a society with customer support and how to treat humans. I'm mad at the people at JetBlue. I thought about doing a gnarly little video last night, pulled the change up on that. But I did want to hit that in the open. So outside of that, I'm great. And I'm excited to yuck some Yanks because I like some of this stuff. And sometimes spring training, we end up and it's spring training. Who knows? It's spring training. I don't know. Give me some new stances. And I do hate that we're getting a little too nerdy with it, that we have like data on it. I'd rather just do it old school raw dog. I think his stance looks different. Now we actually have where guys' feet are located and stuff. Yeah. But that adds to the fun too. How you doing over there?
Oh, great. Just fabulous. Yesterday, the shoveling, and I'm like a snow shoveling enthusiast. I usually don't complain. I usually enjoy it. I mean, just heavy, wet, 2 feet of snow. Yeah. I went out there, and I was also tired, not feeling great, and I was starting. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Let me go find some teenagers to pay.
Yeah,
I was like, I think I'm going to walk to an ATM.
You just sent a picture of your driveway, just kind of into the abyss. We had a warehouse weekend this past weekend before the storm, and I think you were just hoping for inspiration or something. You didn't really. I think you just said this blows, and like that's not even. Dude. That's not how you.
Someone had asked
chat.
like how much snow. Someone had asked how much snow did you guys get, and I was like this much. It stinks. But then I did it. I sweated like I played 2 hockey games in a row.
Nice.
I was dripping underneath all the snow gear, and then I did it. So I'm happy with myself, I guess.
You did.
But yeah, we got schools canceled. Kids are just scratching each other, yelling who did it, who didn't do it. It's not been great. Well, I really thought I was going to go to the office today, and then I woke up and like there's a lot of circumstances. Just like, oh, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not going to the office today. Send you some pictures of the finished product of my driveway. I was impressed with myself. I was
Everyone enjoyed.
It's not impressive.
Day.
Everyone did it. Everyone had to do it. So I didn't do anything different than other people in my neighborhood.
Right.
But I'm like, actually, a lot of them have snow blowers. Okay. Jealous. I'm with you though about this spring stuff. I am kind of amped to talk about some of this stuff. I know that a lot of it fades. I feel like with World Baseball Classic happening, and like there being a big gap, that's going to be dead time in spring for the Yankees because all the players leave in the World Baseball Classic. So right now they're starting at a more ramped level than they usually do. Like we're seeing guys Judge got 4 at bats the other day or 3 at bats. So we're seeing like starts, almost kind of making spring a little more fun having the World Baseball Classic. Now I don't want them to get hurt. They're sending 11 guys. Everyone's nervous. But, yeah, we have a lot of fun interviews. We have a lot of, on the hitting and pitching side, different stances. And Guidry coming out talking about Steinbrenner, which is awesome.
All good. Let's get into it.
First story, quick one. Yankee Stadium, George Steinbrenner Field full of shit, Jake.
Ooh.
Sewage leak at Steinbrenner Field. And I just like this because they had a lot of fun quotes. Yankees spokesperson said it's spring training for the toilets, too.
Classic.
When you can, you got to do it. Boone said, it's not great. It's all over the place. Life gets you sometimes, which I also enjoyed. And then this quote from an unnamed player, wouldn't put his name on it. It's a disaster in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be linked with that quote.
You don't think so?
No. Credit to the crew. They talked about it on the broadcast that they had the Steinbrenner Field crew. They had to work overnight to get it acceptable for the game. And even like they were going to the very last minute. The guys didn't warm up at the field. They warmed up on the side field and then came over just for the game. So yeah, it's a shitty situation.
Ooh, it happens. Yeah, Boone said credit to all of them for cleaning up the shit all night. Anyway, that was just very quick. That's like the groundskeeping. We're getting into the show. Groundskeeping, everyone's favorite segment. Jazz is the biggest story.
Oh.
And I actually love it. I did a little video on it. We talked a lot about it at the warehouse. He was chatting. Who wrote the article? Was it?
This was Randy Miller.
Nice. Randy Miller's doing a lot of good personality-driven stuff over there at NJ.com. He said that he is going to be the second player to go 50-50. He went 30-30 last year, missed a month, and then his quotes are awesome. He said, real life, let's just be realistic. I got all the tools for it. I have the speed, the power, the plate discipline, the eye at the plate, and the defense. I got everything to accumulate a 10-war season. Judge agreed. He said, yeah, he's a complete athlete. He's a guy that can dictate a game with one swing or even one play on defense. And then he gave Judge a lot of credit, saying, Judge is pushing me ever since I've gotten here. I feel like I've matured a lot in the game just from watching him and his at-bats every day. That's why I feel like my year is going to be so magical, because I'm following that guy. And then he also had great quotes about wanting to stay in New York. He said, the atmosphere in New York, the way the fans are super passionate day in, day out, who doesn't want to be in front of that for the rest of their career? You walk down the street and a random guy or girl can tell you your stats. The amount of love for baseball in the city just equals how much I love baseball. Said he wants 8-year deal, $35 million a year. I don't know. I think we're going to agree on this, but what do you got on Jazz's quotes here?
What's not to like? I mein, the 8 to 10 years he's asking for. It seemed like free agency went away from that this year, but yeah, it for me, it brought me back into some of our early offseason chatter when it was like, hey, are they going to move Jazz Chisholm? Go look at the best second baseman around baseball. Like, Ketel Marte, talent-wise and stats-wise, is the only guy that can put Jazz down, really. Like, after that, you get into this tier of second basemen that Nico Horner, Bryce Turang, guys like that, who are very good baseball players, but like Nico Horner's a single-digit home run guy. Now he's incredible at everything else. Turang has a few holes in his all-around game. Like, Jazz is talking 50-50, and you can't totally snarf at it. I mean, you can, because one person's only done it. And Jazz, to do that for a full season is unreal. But he has this kind of talent. And, yeah, dude, all the quotes, I know they hit a chord for you, that it's like, well, what should I say? Like, I'm aiming for 2020? Like, what, should I say I don't want a big contract? Should I not try to keep up with Judge? Like, who do you think I am? And his personality and who he is works with New York so well, or has worked with New York so well.
I think when I was younger, I would have been upset about these quotes for some dumb reason, just because I was like a young kid and didn't really understand life, or you just had an angrier mindset. But CC used to say the same thing. They'd be like, someone asked me how many games I think I'm going to win. Like, why would I say anything but 20? Like, and you got to answer the questions asked, or I'd rather them answer the question asked than be like stoic or boring. I understand like this is going to upset non-Yankees fans, and that's fine. That's entertainment. Like, you need people you don't want to cheer for on other teams, but Yankees fans should just be like, all right, dude, go do it. Like, yeah, why not? He said last year he was going to win the Silver Slugger at second base, and then he went out and did it. And we kind of had like a kind of a not a scoff reaction, kind of like, okay, and then he did it. So like, all right, you got to ask to receive. That's our motto. Put it out into the ether, and then you're stuck doing nothing but having to chase it down. He also knows exactly the home run totals for second baseman. Like in the article, he drops Jeff Kent's home run totals, and then he's like, he hit 377. I know that. And Robinson Cano at 355. I'm at 110. So in the article, it's kind of funny because he's being, you know how Jazz talks. He's like, well, I hit 50, and then I'll just follow that up with 50 again, and then I'll chill out, hit 30 a couple times, and he wants to be the leading home run hitter for second baseman. That was kind of like his end goal. So I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have guessed Jazz was. That's more like I picture of a Gerrit Cole personality of like I have goals and achievements, like intense robot. Because Jazz doesn't give off the intense vibes that these quotes kind of give off, like knowing the numbers he's chasing. So I like it.
Yeah, and it's a funny mix of, okay, if you want to get mad at Jazz for being the quote-unquote ridiculous athlete, like, oh, 50-50, like that. No way, he's not that player. Well, there's also what I like about that part of the conversation is Jazz is talking about second base. Like, if you wanted to, quote unquote, knock him for having that crazy athlete's mentality, like, then Jazz Chisholm would be all over the board. He'd be talking about like playing shortstop still or something of that nature. That no, it's kind of cool that he's like, no, I'm a second baseman. I'm a dog. This is what I'm out here to do. And hey, it'll be an interesting conversation once the offseason gets here of what Jazz does this year, because as we've seen with a lot of players, how much that final free agent year will dictate your free agency. I mean, go look at Schwarber compared to a Zach Gallen or something like that this year. That Jazz also, I hadn't looked at his baseball savant, but his spray chart, it's not too dissimilar from Sir Didi Gregorius, which we had a viral clip this weekend of you and Joe's running amok with Didi. But, like, if Jazz Chisholm wants those records, being in New York really should matter for him because I didn't realize the spray chart was really like this.
I wanted to look at his numbers. I didn't pull these up, but like his home run per at-bat before he got injured and then after he got injured. Because he started the year out and the slash line was tough. But I feel like he hit home runs. It was 7 home runs in 30 games, which is whatever you want to do on the math there. What, a home run every 4 games?
Yeah.
And then he came back and he said he was going to have a more balanced swing, like less is more. And the average went up a bunch, but did his home run rate change? 24 home runs in 100 games.
There's some math there that's never been our exact strength. And I guess that will be the interesting part if people dig these quotes up. If Jazz were to have a slow April, because we did a whole thing last year that was like, oh, Jazz is 70% Jazz is playing amazing baseball, that if he has a bad April, it'll be like, oh, well, Jazz is trying to be 50-50. No wonder he's struggling right now, which I don't know if that's fair or not.
His swing in the first day of swing, his swing in the first day of spring,
right?
He had a 2-strike at bat and battled a little bit, and I was like, his first year in 2024 when he came over, we didn't see that really at all. And then he ends up, he almost hit a foul ball down the left field line, and then he got the same pitch again, and it was another, like, he went the other way with it. So as long as he does kind of the Didi home run swing, as well as a 2-strike approach going the other way, I would be very ecstatic.
Got to have multiple clubs in the bag, baby.
I have a math check on Jazz just because we asked the question. I have the answer. 7 homers in his first 30 games is a 37.8 homer pace over 162. Then he hit 24 homers in his last 100 games. That'd be a 38.8 rate over 162. So the home run rate technically went up virtually, it was the same.
Hey, great news. Good stat check. All right. The other big story that I thought was interesting was Gerrit Cole touches 97 miles per hour in his live session versus batters. I believe he pitched to Trent, Judge, and Dominguez in this session. He's, again, just like way ahead of schedule than anyone would have guessed. He also had a quote here about this, Jake, that said, I was a bit taken aback. At the same time, it makes sense. I've been preparing well. I hadn't gotten within about 2 miles per hour of that velocity during my bullpen sessions, so that makes me think we got a hot gun situation. But I would also love to believe that he just got amped up and the adrenaline got him the 2 miles per hour more. But it's like way ahead of schedule. That's his average velo. And to hit that 12 months after Tommy John, almost, I know can be, I don't even know if this is cynical, but just like a scaredy cat, but almost scares me. I'm like, whoa, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
Like
it's
months until you have to pitch.
1 inning, 20 pitches, all fastballs. And yeah, the one Cole quote, everything felt good. I had a good bit of fun. It was the first day I was unregulated. The mindset was performance. Which, again, the electrician that Gerrit Cole, wow, has turned into as a wordsmith, and just who he has become as like a full-blown adult grown man human is awesome. And yeah, I'm happy for him. And yeah, what you're saying has some logic behind it. But also it's the first time they let him eat. And yeah, that first bullpen everyone saw of him was in the Yankees gas station, and a 96 popped up, but everyone said that gun was a little hot. So maybe there's 2 hot guns. Maybe it's not. Maybe he just, who Gerrit Cole is as a competitor, seeing an actual, not even just an actual human in the box, seeing one of the New York Yankees, Trent, Judge, those guys in the box. Yeah, that maybe he got the juices going.
And the quotes here are good. First off, in the article, it says pitching coach Matt Blake texted from the road. So he just got a text saying, hey, Matt Blake, anything you want to say about Cole's outing on the record? And he texted, I thought he was sharp. Good to get the first one under his belt. So that's just...
Did Matt Blake clarify he was on the road?
He texted from the road after the session. So I don't know.
Like, could he have been at his apartment? Like, otherwise it feels like Matt Blake is like, hey, I'm on the road right now, but what can I tell you? Otherwise you wouldn't put that in, right?
Team bus?
It's his location had to be known. Otherwise you don't put that in.
I think the writer, and forgive me, I don't have that in front of me. I think he's saying, like, here's what Matt Blake said. It's nothing because he texted it to me. Because it's such a text update.
You just wanted to say the road part. That's what I'm getting hung up on.
Yeah, it says pitching coach Matt Blake texted from the road after the session. I thought he was sharp. Good to get the first one under his belt. Anyway, Austin Wells, he goes, he looks fantastic. He looks precise. He resembles Gerrit Cole. I believe he's already in full season shape and could secure outs right now if necessary. And that is too much. Boone said the last thing we want to do is push him early in spring just because he looks like this. So kind of like Wells, chill out.
Can you resemble Gerrit Cole if you are Gerrit Cole? Is that philosophical?
Yeah, I think so, because I think like last year Luis Heel did not, and we'll talk about him later, like you would say Luis Heel did not look like Luis Heel last year.
Okay.
So I think that's what he's saying. Like, he doesn't look like a different version of himself.
Okay.
He just looks like Gerrit Cole.
I like it.
He's got the new motion. I think he's crediting Andy Pettitte with the over his head. And we did get more quotes from Cole on doing that. He said, it just felt good. I experimented it with during summer. I think I simply appreciate the rhythm of this new motion. Did you see Boone's quote about the new motion?
I like that.
Or like Boone's.
Which one? We got a lot of quotes.
Yeah, Boone's quote is, well, Boone went like Boris on us.
Nice.
He said about his new delivery, I liken it to a diver that dives off the high board and just goes in the water, making no splash. That's Gerrit.
It's beautiful.
I think he's talking about his motion there.
Might not be.
Just him as a person.
Yeah.
It's good. and I like it for Gerrit Cole. And I think he's growing the beard back.
Yeah, he's more confident with the beard. That if everyone's doing it, he kind of let everyone take the brunt of it last year, and now maybe.
Yeah, I will say though,
like could that be our negotiating chip here? Because the beard policy, I don't think it's ever coming back. Could we do kind of the reverse playoff hockey, like guys shave their beards for Yankees postseasons?
We should find something. I liked when they would do mustaches because that's all they were allowed to do.
Right.
Again, like it, but Gerrit Cole's voice and like boyish nerd, I said that in a nice way,
right,
matches his clean shaven face way better. Like when he was on the Astros with the longer hair and the beard, I thought he was a different type of guy.
Yes.
And then when he's, I start hearing him talk all the time and his voice, I'm like, oh, like the clean shaven button up whine is way more who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, new swings. New swings, and I believe this segment's going to be brought to you by SeatGeek because we got to watch videos here, and SeatGeek is...
It's the spring training check-in, Jimbo, brought to you by SeatGeek, where we look at what's been happening at camp.
First one is Spencer Jones, who has now overhauled his stance for the third year in a row. And he's going full Ohtani. He hit a homer. It's kind of what he does. Let's see. Here it is. Look at that. He looks very uncomfortable. Even last year, some of the stances he was working with looked very uncomfortable. But hit the ball very far.
Yeah, I'd say the good things to put in your pocket, as people have listened to this show about some different players over the past couple years, is that batting stances do change a lot generically over baseball. You need to constantly be tinkering with it because unless you are the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, like we even see Judge kind of mess around with his stance, that in this game you kind of always need to be tinkering. That, yeah, we have examples of from last year of Spencer Jones changing his stance like 6 times in 1 month. You have to like that because in a way it's a competitive side. And it, again, like Spencer Jones, we get caught up in, oh, he strikes out a lot and I don't know if the Yanks like him and all that. Spencer Jones could also be like, hey, I had like the most home runs in minor league baseball last year. Like what I'm doing actually works for me. But he's working on it. So that's pretty cool. And hey, I mean, if there's a guy that massive Spencer Jones could be copying, we said Judge at first and like, okay, well, from the lefty side, it would be Ohtani.
Yeah. He copied Judge last year and he had the big leg kick. And now even Judge was talking about this Ohtani stance, and what Judge said was like, I like that he's just prepared to hit. He doesn't have a big leg kick to worry about. It's straightforward. The foot's down. He's ready to take action right from the start. It's interesting because that's not Judge's swing. Judge has the big leg kick. Every spring he tries to have hit without one, and then usually never takes into the season. But we were talking to people within the Yankees who kind of were like, Jones is a different body than Judge. Like he can't copy what Judge doing. He's like, Jones is more of like that wide shoulder swimmer's body, which is more like Ohtani's. And then they asked Jones, and he was like, yeah, well, he's a good person to copy. Like what he's doing, you should try. And that's good philosophy.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, this is backwards a little bit, and I think the nerds would fight me. But I've said this before on the show, like Judge is an amazing contact hitter. Like I know he won the batting title last year, but he uses his massive frame that it's like, hey, dude, if you make contact, we're good. It'll be interesting to see Spencer Jones's evolution, and as guys do leave for the WBC, how crazy does a Spencer Jones hype train get? Or, I mean, something just track as this season goes along. Like, if him and Dominguez are in AAA and they're both batting the ball around, that's going to be something that we haven't had in a long time. Like, prospects we're really familiar with killing it at the AAA level. Like, when was the last time we had that?
I don't know.
Right?
Glaber? Drury.
I know Drury came to mind. That's the crazy part. That, like, normally with the way the Yankees handle their top prospects and the lack of availability on the Yankees roster because they do trade for guys and sign free agents. That doesn't happen a lot. So that's going to be hopefully is an interesting note.
If you're deeper into baseball, like you like looking at more of the numbers than the data, what you need to look at if you're trying to evaluate Jones on yourself is his in-zone contact percentage. That's where like the home run count numbers are amazing, but the in-zone contact, last year he was in the low 70s, which is basically Joey Gallo, Chris Carter. Like it puts him in that style player, and those guys don't last anymore in the league. And no one really wants to give him a chance. So these new stances and getting ready to hit is like it bumped up a little bit towards the end of last year, I think. But that's the number they're looking at because, yeah, the home runs are nice, but if pitchers can beat you in the zone in AAA, then you're going to get absolutely destroyed by pitchers in the big league. So hopefully the stance leads to that changing because that's what you said. Like Judge is a good contact hitter. Like if he swings at a ball in the zone, he's usually putting it in play.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I was laughing. There's a big college basketball story. I don't know if this has gotten to you yet, Jim. Darren Peterson, he was like the 1-1 pick expected from the draft. He's like amazing, but he's been like subbing himself out of games and not playing and stuff, and everyone's like, what the hell is this? Like that's that he's getting now compared to Ben Simmons because he's like the only guy that ever had some weird stuff like that in college. Basically, this is a long-winded way of saying, like, you get to the minor leagues, you get to college basketball. Before you get to the show, that's when it starts. So, like, Spencer Jones, if you're someone that's writing the book on him in either direction, A, you don't know, and, hey, man, maybe he controls the pen. Like, if he can make a little more contact, like, what he's done in the minor leagues is very impressive.
Yeah, and
Scout said Shohei couldn't hit.
He's actively trying things,
yeah,
which is more for other people.
We love that.
Another guy that's overhauling his swing and actively trying things is Jose Caballero, your starting shortstop with Volpe on the IL, not even IL. He's trying to swing faster. So he went to Driveline. He didn't go play a winter ball. He said he wanted to come into the season fresh and really retool his approach. He had one of the slowest swings last year, and he doesn't want that anymore. He wants to get his bat speed up. I don't know. It's like a good thing, but also his skill was being pesky and fighting and putting the ball in play. But you don't want to fully trade this. This is kind of what Volpe was supposed to be this, but then he was like, I'm going to swing as hard as I can, and then it didn't work. And hopefully Caballero has the ability to raise his speed, but still not lose his average and on base and all that.
Yeah. It's funny looking at his Yankees stats. It's clearly a smaller sample size, so you can't really do it. For me, what jumps out, and it's everything we just talked about, is Caballero's walks to strikeouts when he played with the Yankees were a different gear last year. So obviously he's going to be one of the fun storylines early on in the season. And hey, when he takes batting practice, like he can hit with the big dogs. Like he was leaving the stadium to left field pretty easily. Yeah, let's see what it means.
Interested if it stays or he resorts. Look at all this. Crazy how much data we have.
Well, this kind of segues him and McMahon that they've tightened up Caballero's stance a little bit. And this is where, again, like I have a little, I like a lot of the new baseball stuff, but I still have, I got Jolly Olive good the other day with, who was I talking about? Noelvi Marte. And, we were talking a bunch of numbers, and I said, you know what, though? He looks like a ball player to me. That I do like that we can use that. That they're talking about he gets more torque from it. You can get leverage from it. And, that kind of it's the whole left side of the infield. Everyone's bringing a tighter stance.
I like both. I think how it works is the eye test. I talked to some people within the Yankees about this on the pitching side of things. Like the eye test leads you to the data. Like, hey, you watched McMahon last year. He is just under every ball, but his decisions weren't horrible.
Right.
Just like something was off. And then I think you take that eye test and go, okay, well, now let's see, like, find outliers in the data. And he had the 4th widest stance in Major League Baseball. I mean, you think about wide stance guys, you're thinking about like Big Pop, or I think about Pujols, kind of like Trout, like sluggers, like really good.
Is Soto? He's just
Soto's
so like
pretty
kind of
wide.
squatty body.
But I think it's wide. I don't know the data on it, but the eye test tells me Soto's really wide too. You're really, really good players.
Yeah.
Some of the less poppy players, they kind of are smaller. I think of Pedroia, like because they need to like throw their body into it more.
Right.
I don't know. So McMahon, he said, there's plenty of video of me in the past where I'm not nearly that wide, and a lot of better things are happening in my swing. Things that I've done in the past that I got away from. They pointed them out, and we worked on them. So the Yankees like gave him this info, and he's been open to being like, oh, okay, cool. So trying to find him a way to do better. James Rowson said he's positioned more robustly to consistently drive the baseball. I don't have a visual of that. When I read that quote, I was like, he's positioned more robustly. The words in my brain don't connect into a visual.
I've never.
Do you have that?
No, I've never seen a hitter and been like, they are looking robust today.
Isn't that round? Isn't that like rounded?
You would think
what's robust?
Like you would think that would be what they're trying to work out of him, just given the nature of short on his swing.
Oh, strong and healthy, vigorous.
I think of coffee when I hear robust.
Well, strong and healthy. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of this, Beebs?
I wish we had, like, when the regular season comes, we have access to more camera angles and stuff. That, like, I don't think the spring training broadcast angle, which at present is all we have, really shows it very well. But here's what we do have from his first at bat Saturday. He hit a double down the line the other way.
Yeah.
I guess, hey, it's spring training mode, and that's why we're doing all of this. I get a little nervous, and this is kind of the reverse Caballero conversation. But, you got to perform, and McMahon had his hitting questions coming in. But, like, for 3 seasons, 458 games, and I know there's some cores in this numbers, and this is the whole conversation with McMahon we could spend a whole 60 minutes on. He was a 242, 325, 738 OPS guy. Like, I would, if we got that out of Ryan McMahon, I would sign up for it easily. I understand the questions, but, like, I don't know. I guess I hope the tinker works, and in May we're talking about how great Ryan McMahon is all around. Like, this guy was a very solid league average offensive player, and the way he plays third base defense, that makes him like a plus player.
Yeah. Well, the way I'm reading the quotes are that the tinkers are saying, like, hey, dude, you've had stretches where you hit really well, and your stance is smaller. Unbeknownst to him, he like widens it at times, or maybe when he came to the Yankees, he started trying to do more and widened it. And so I don't think it's like those Coors numbers are, or those Rockies numbers are with the wide stance now they're changing. I think what they're saying is you've had stretches where you weren't this.
Right.
Same thing with Jazz when he watched like his minor league and was like, oh, I used to not swing so hard all the time.
Right. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. The MLB offseason is nearly over, which means spring training, the WBC, are here. Not to mention NBA, NHL, even World Cup coming up this summer. That is why our partners over at SeatGeek, we're giving them a shout. #1 rated ticketing app, 35 million downloads. Sheesh. And of course, I'm all about that deal. Yanks 2026. 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code YANKS2026. Make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, and have the code automatically added to use in your account later on. SeatGeek.
All right. Pitching. Before we get into the pitching, little company update. First episode of Jomboy and Jake Radio in 4 years was released today. We're bringing it back. Jake and I bantering about nothing, having fun, chatting. It's on the Jomboy Jake TV YouTube channel or any podcast app. So if you, when you finish this episode, go listen to that.
There's a lot of good sleep talk in there early on, so if you've ever slept, you might want to go check it out.
That's good. All right, we got Luis Heel, Cam Schlittler, and Cade Winquest updates. Who do you want to start with?
Let's do Heel, because I for a lot of Yankee fans, probably jonesing for action, we got to see a little Heel. You texted the Talkin Yanks chat. I had some similar thoughts. Let's talk a little Heel.
Yeah, so I mean it's a one outing, and it's 2.1 innings, I think, 2.2 innings. He allowed one run. It was a home run, allowed 2 hits, but he had 0 walks, so that's cool. The other thing, his fastball was faster than before last year. And then we had a lot of quotes about him last year where them kind of just being like open, be like, I don't know what he was doing. Boone was like, I don't know if it was it was like trying to guard his stuff. He had a hard time getting into the zone, so he was aiming it more like, but well, yeah, we don't want him to do that. And speaking about like last year, he wasn't throwing hard early in games. He was kind of like saving his velocity. Also coming off an injury and surgery, so that could be part of it. But he needs to be in the zone, so no walks is good. And it's good to hear them all saying it out loud, speaking it into existence. Like, yeah, we need to throw the fastball hard and throw strikes and get ahead. He was in the zone 54% of the time, and had a 60% first pitch strike rate in this one outing. So obviously it's one spring outing, and like if you're not in the zone in spring, that's crazy. The guy on the Pirates walked everyone, so that was later on. I just think it's good that they're like speaking out loud what everyone was thinking last year and saying like, yeah, you need to be Luis Heel that won the Rookie of the Year.
Girardi was on God mode on the broadcast. Incredible. I will put him down as the best spring training broadcaster of all time, because with everything that's going on, it's his dream. Like he was talking on a foul pop-up. He went through between a minor league stadium, between players that don't normally work together and communicating, between the sun and the like in one foul pop-up, he went through. Like, he was in his bag. It was amazing that him talking about Heel was also great because he was like, with this guy's injury history, and he didn't pitch till August last year in the big leagues, and what we saw from Heel, like, he's like, he was holding back. He literally talked about it, and he doesn't want to get hurt again, that hopefully he can build up slowly for spring training, and that's what spring training is for. So if you're looking to buy Heel stock, I'll be honest with the people, I flip-flop every day. Like, I was hyping myself on Luis Heel, and I was like, I don't know what role he's going to fall into, but there's talent in there, and, like, Luis Heel is going to be a plus player for the Yankees this year. And then he gave up the home run, and I was like, I don't know about Heel.
Yeah, that was the home run pitch was a fast right down the middle. His mound presence bothers me a lot. Like, I just wish he had a little more, like, stiff back, a little more upright shoulder. Like, he doesn't feel, like, confident in himself. He threw a couple sliders and a couple changeups that were eye-opening in this first outing. And the whole issue with Heel during his Rookie of the Year season was he had either the fastball and the slider or the fastball and the changeup. He never had the fastball, slider, and changeup all working on the same day. Maybe there's one or two that I'm blanking on, but I think that was the main feeling, that it was like he had to figure out which one was working. He actually then would like go through stretches where he was a fastball changeup pitcher and then fastball slider pitcher. The breaking stuff looked great. The fastball just needs to be commanded better, and he has the makeup. I don't know. It's good to see, and it's good to hear them talking about like throw strikes, dude.
Throw strikes, and I think a lot of it ties to the fastball velo, which sometimes I think that's corny, but we were on it with Devin last year. Like, and you're talking about his confidence. Like, that's the confidence pitch. Like, Luis Heel isn't let me bang sliders and changeups all day. Like, when Luis Heel came up, God bless me is tattooed across his throat. Was it him or Dominguez that was wearing purple because that's like the color of royalty? I think that was Heel, right? That like,
maybe.
Know what royalty wants to do? Throw 98 at you, and you can't hit it. That I'll be interested to see if he ticks up by the end of camp. I'll be all in on Heel. Same.
He's gonna be in the rotation, barring injuries, right now. So, like, He was amazing when Cole got hurt in 2024, and he won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I'd love to feel confident on him. There's the Purple Glove.
And his starts were fun. Like, his starts were kind of electric.
Yeah, they were. Another guy that's in the rotation, Cam Schlittler, talked about it in the offseason. Matt Blake talked about this. There was a conversation on Hot Stove that he's going to add a splitter or a changeup. They didn't know which one. It's funny because Schlittler at the time said it's probably going to be a changeup, and Matt Blake at the time said it's probably a splitter. And they updated on that. It's not happening. It's being put on hold. They're just going to work on what he's good at, fastball, breaking ball, and put this on hold. He says, I liked his quote because a lot of people don't know this, but you as a human beings, we naturally supinate or we naturally pronate. Do a phantom baseball throw. If your thumb ends up down, you naturally pronate. If your thumb ends up kind of level and your pinky is more down, you naturally supinate. And I think you naturally supinate.
I soup, yeah.
I pronate. My pinky is up after I throw, my thumb's down. So that means that I would throw stuff that has arm side run, change-ups, two-seamers, and you would be more prone, more easier to throw sliders, curveballs, cutters. There's that book I always reference, this one.
Skin the book, people. Oh, boy.
Right here. Action. If you're interested in this stuff, this book, who wrote it? I always give him credit. Tyler Kepner. It's called A History of Baseball in 10 Pitches. The section on the changeup was fascinating to me because guys that naturally supinate, it said in here, like, it takes them like years to develop a changeup because they just feel like they practice and practice and practice every spring, but you have to like develop that arm release, which isn't natural to them at all. So I guess it's normal, but just an update. Yeah. Quick. He didn't even like go through camp and try it. There was like, nope, which I
ain't
appreciate
ready.
That.
Kind of funny, and it's a little eye-opening if you are a prospect person. Like, if there's a young pitcher that has a changeup, like they put it in bold because, yeah, it just takes time and experience to get comfortable with.
Yeah. So, Schlittler, no change. Other pitcher, Jake.
Yes.
You said you wanted to talk about this guy, and I now remember I had a takeaway watching him.
Okay, I love that.
Cade Winquest, the Rule 5 pick.
Yes, so Cade Winquest for me was a little out of sight, out of mind. I think our last silly episode we were also talking about, I think you were like, hey, where's the heel update? I was like, where's the Cade Winquest update? And they then pitched, I think, the next day and piggybacked. Cade Winquest for me was going to be hard to make the team. Like I've mentioned, I like some of the potential options to make the team out of camp, whether that's like an Osvaldo Bido, Hedrick, Yerry De Los Santos, Rafael Montero, Dylan Coleman. Like, I don't know. Those names were starting to get me really jazzed up that I was like, the Yankees, I think they've kept 2 Rule 5 guys ever. One of them is Josh Phelps, which there's kind of like a Rule 5 if you're a veteran that ends up on a minor league team. And he made the Yankees in 2007 and like was part of the team, but that's not even like a true Rule 5 guy. The other guy, I think, was in 1971. So the Yankees haven't done this. But what has changed with the Yankees is, this is their one skill that we all stamp, like finding pitchers, tapping into something and making it work. And secondly, their other thing that is beneficial and sometimes a fatal flaw for them is they hate losing the asset. That Cade Winquest, if you put him in the blender with a lot of those guys I mentioned, I don't know how big the difference is, but I know that the Yankees hate losing the asset, that I think they'll stretch him out. They start the year kind of funky. If he could give them some 3 innings, finish the blowout games, I think the Yankees would even factor that in as a win, that I think Cade Winquest is going to be on the team.
Yeah, I kind of always thought he was because they don't take Rule 5 guys. So if they take one, they must really think he's worth the time and effort. He had good insight. He said that as soon as they got him in the Rule 5 draft, there was they had a Friday afternoon Zoom call with like the Yankees pitching staff. And he said all the guys on the Zoom were showing him how to hold a sinker and just telling him, just hold it like this. And then they sent him spin access balls in the mail. And he's been working on it since then. So they were like, hey, we're taking you and we have this agenda right away. We want to teach you how to throw a sinker. Now, this is different than the changeup or the splitter because the sinker does have arm side run, but this new seam shifted wake, what is that what's called? All you do, I wish I had a baseball. All you do is you just change where your fingers are and you throw it the exact same as your four seam. So it's kind of like whether you supinate, pronate, like you should be able to do this because the laces are doing it and the shifted wake more than your arm or wrist action. He threw that in this outing and it says he got 2 feet of run at 95 miles per hour, but the consistency wasn't there yet. But anyway, I knew they liked a live arm. And I knew they wanted speed, and he can top out 96. That pitch right there, I didn't know that he's also a slow curveball specialist. They're like his best pitch is his 70-something mile per hour curveball, which is fun. Like, those when you get a guy on a slow curve, that's very fun. He had a 46% swing and miss rate on that curveball last year and a 143 batting average against. So I kind of perked up. I was like, oh, so he's got the fucking fast fastball and a slow curveball. That's a much more interesting pitcher to me than he's got 96 fastball and we're going to develop some secondary, which is what Heel was his first year. And like we said, like if he's got a nasty secondary pitch, all you got to do is get that fastball command down, add a sinker, and that'll make the curveball even better.
Especially out of the bullpen. Because the Yankees probably don't need him to be a starter. Bednar, slow curveball guy, so maybe there can be some words of wisdom out in that bullpen. And my other Rule 5 argument is that the Yankees probably still feel spurned from losing Gerrit Whitlock in the Rule 5 draft, so they need to make up for that.
That's true.
Today's episode is sponsored by PSA. You know those baseball cards you've had since you were a kid, the ones sitting in your parents' basement or stored in the boxes that you move around from house to house. What if they're worth something? Stop wondering and find out with the help of PSA. The PSA app, you can quickly scan your cards to find out their estimated market value. Then you can ship them to the hobby's #1 authenticator to get them graded and ready to sell. From there, you're seconds away from listing them on eBay, accepting zero-fee cash PSA partner offers on eligible cards, or storing your items in the PSA vault. No taking pictures, filling out long selling forms, or dealing with the potential buyers. Just one app and one shipment are all it takes to go from sitting at home to graded and listed for sale. Step up to the plate, turn your cards into cash with the power of PSA. Head to the link in the description and use code YANKS25. $25 off your first grading submission. Terms apply.
It's true. Okay. New segment called, what did I call it? All the things they said. Listen to Kelly Clarkson's cover of that song. It's delightful.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. All right, some quotes around camp. Giancarlo Stanton, Jake, he said that the point of being a Yankee is being a champion. There's always going to be a stain there without it. He said the goal is the World Series. The goal is a championship, but you've got to do what's in between, not to get there, but to complete it. So he's saying that there's going to be a stain on his Yankees career if they don't win a championship.
Yes.
Got to win.
Got to win.
Got to win. He also said he's ready to go, excited for productive work this spring and solid buildup. Elbow discomfort isn't disappearing. It requires ongoing care. However, it hasn't prevented me from doing any work. Also, he hasn't played, and Boone keeps saying they're going to slow play him. I think also when the WBC guys leave, there's just so much available slots for Stanton just to get in there. So they're like, whatever. Like, we can take it a little slower. Trent Grisham talked.
Like that.
And very interesting. Because Trent Grisham doesn't have this reputation, I think, amongst fans because he's so cavalier. He's the big sleep. But he said that the reason he took the qualifying offer wasn't because of money. He thinks he could have got more elsewhere. But the elsewhere wasn't interesting to him. He said, I want to win. That's what the driving factor was. I'm a firm believer of if you keep playing this game long enough, the money takes care of it itself. That's never the biggest factor for me. And then he went on to say, which that's like easy. People say that all the time.
Yeah.
But then he went on to say, I did my due diligence and saw what was going on in the market, but at the end of the day, it's about winning for me. I felt like this place really cares about winning and wants to do it every year. The guys in the clubhouse are very talented and have that focus, so that's really what drew me back. I love the guys and wanted to come back. And Cashman said, well, at this point, the $22 million looks like a bargain, the way the free agent market got away from everyone. But I will say, when we were predicting where Trent was going to go, it was like we weren't talking about teams that had, 95 win and plus aspirations or realistic goals. It was like, whatever. It was teams that were like, hey, I can see the Reds giving him, maybe I'm not
Royals.
shots fired at Reds fans, sorry, but see the Reds giving a 4-year like big deal. And like making him their like big signing because of the numbers he just put up. So I do believe him. If he did due diligence, looked around the league, who's going to give him the contract? I don't know if it was going to be a contender.
Yeah, hey, Trent said all the right things. We just did a Stanton quote and said it'll be a stain on his resume if he doesn't have a Yankees championship. That Trent's saying the right stuff here. I think you are too, and I don't know. Like I'm looking at the players in free agency. Like all the guys that got more money than Trent Grisham are guys in a different league than Trent's been in. It's Schwarber, Bregman, Alonso, Bichette, Belly, Tucker. The only guy that's kind of like kind of in a similar, like Jorge Polanco got 2 years, 40, which, hey, that is a lot more money. If you just think of it that way, that, yeah, I like what he said. Again, there's a Yankee Stadium argument for him, for his final numbers on a season. And, I thought he'd lean on more of the place that you have success in baseball, or for the first time in Major League Baseball as a hitter, he had the success that he probably thought he was going to have his entire career. That for me, that would be more important for everything in his equation of trying to time free agency right. Yankee Stadium, the lineup behind him, the hitting coaches, the whole environment. I would want to run that back at my chance of a massive payday if he does it again.
Yeah, almost like the recipe worked pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't want to go try out a new formula and then it affects the big free agency.
He goes to the Texas Rangers and has an awful first 2 months, and everyone's like, oh, he had one fluke year with the Yanks. That's it.
I wonder if Glaber would have taken the qualifying offer had they offered it to him after 2024. The thought was he would.
He took it this year.
He took it this year, and he had similar numbers, right?
Kinda.
I think this on base went up with the Tigers.
Yeah, and he kind of limped to the finish line, so I don't know if there was anything with that, but yeah, where Glaber kind of had the opposite year with the Yankees. He really struggled, and then he went nuts at the end of the year and through the postseason.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, Austin Wells had a quote, and he said the scouts were right about his defensive abilities. His quote is, I think the measurable skills as a catcher, I was terrible. I was not good at framing, probably below average blocking. I was okay throwing. Boone said, even during his first call-up in September, some expressed concerns about potential challenges behind the plate. However, he more than held his own. I was impressed. Wells, and then I like these on the offense. Boone has always been tougher on Wells than other players. Volpe, like they're the same person, but like his quotes on Wells, like Boone said, I expect much more from him offensively. And so does he. And like that's never been said about Volpe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've started to get in that area, but along the way, everyone said it. They also said that on the broadcast, and they have said that because we saw Austin Wells do it for a summer, and it felt right, and the at-bats at times still do feel right. It was fun. My first at-bat, I watched, or no, it wasn't the first at-bat. Caballero hit like a good fly ball to center, and he was super frustrated. And I was laughing at the Yankees minor league that had for probably the past 5 years has put that in a bucket of like nice swing dude. And Caballero was pissed. But yeah, the Wells defensive stuff, that kind of ties to that gibberish I was saying about Spencer Jones before. Like, okay, you've gotten to this point, and that's awesome. But like, yeah, Austin Wells had to work his ass off to become a good major league catcher.
Well, and the Yankees have also always been good at coaching and catching since Tanner Swanson came over. They have like a reputation. Like Trevino came over, very, very, very good catcher, but came over and still got better and credits the Yankees for like pushing him even further. So that is a skill this team has right now. They can develop defensive catching very, very well, and they can develop pitching very well. Like that's been recent in the last 7 years or so. Hitting still yet to be seen or known.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, that's there as well.
Tanner Swanson, Great Britain
Wells
coach.
did Jazz babysitter.
There's like 11 Talking Yanks people that are like this. We saw Tanner Swanson at spring training. He said, "Hey man, a bunch of my buddies sent me you doing my voice with an accent." I panicked. I had no idea what he was talking about, so I assumed he was talking about the Matt Blake impression of a Southern Matt Blake. So I did Tanner Swanson, which, by the way, not bad.
Not bad.
But he did a head tilt, and then I did a head tilt, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And then later in the conversation, Great Britain came up, and I was like, aha. Whatever. Good-looking guy.
Tanner Swanson. Wellesley went 1 for 3 as a catcher on his ABS challenges, and 2 of them were pretty bad. So I know that Boone has them over challenging and Judge has them over challenging. He burned through them by the 5th inning in that game. I wonder if they're telling Wells just challenge more, but that's going to be interesting. Your catcher needs to be good at it. The statistics show in the minors that the catcher who's receiving the ball has the best percentage of overturn. Like obviously he should know the zone better than the batter and the pitcher. His head is still and he's seeing it come the whole way. So tough start. I think Wells got one right as a batter. But he got 2 wrong as a catcher, and they were like, one was like 2 inches off. It was like, what?
Yeah, and it seems like early on this spring training, and there's been a couple quotes about it, that almost the Yankees are using a method of like aim wide and let's try to hone it in as spring training goes on. That I think they kind of want like, hey, Wellesley, if you think one is, even if you think it's a little off, why don't you challenge it and let's find out? Like, let's work on that as a skill in spring training. So one way to go about it. Let's see how it works. And I have good news. I have good news for the people. I'm gonna fully have Austin Wells hype by the end of spring training.
Love that.
The fact that he's the Dominican Republic's starting catcher. Like that, go look at that team. The fact he is solid defensively, and the fact he's a left-handed hitting catcher, like I shouldn't get mad that he doesn't have a backup. And I like the player. I like the player, and he's just gotta do it.
Got to do it. Turn on the ball more. That's what I say.
Yeah.
He blank. I don't know. One more, what he said, or maybe 2. Ron Guidry. We saw Gator there in down in spring. He had some, like, I know this, I don't know, this picks at scabs or wounds, but they're just funny to hear him say it while he's in camp. He's talking about the Yankees and the Dodgers and George and the mood in the clubhouse and the camp, and he goes, he basically said that when he was playing, you'd be looking at the newspaper every morning to see what George had to say. Today it's really calm. When I was playing, there was always tension. Guys were always looking over their shoulders like, what's next? And then he said, it's actually boring this way. The players today don't have to deal with the tension. They've never experienced that. He went on to say that in his opinion, George Steinbrenner was doing it to get the best out of players. He would needle players early and see if they would stand up to him or react. And if they didn't, then he would say, you're too soft to be here. You won't like it. And if you did, he would keep them, knowing that was what Guidry said about Steinbrenner. Like it was a method to the madness, Herb Brooks-esque. But he talked about the Dodgers. He goes, George would have found a way to match the Dodgers. Whatever they did, he would have done better. If they signed one star, George would have signed two. He would have tried his best to stop what's going on. And then when asked how George would react to the drought, he said George would not be happy right now. You can be sure about that. It's not that he goes on to say it's not shots fired at Hal, and like he likes Hal and he's working with the team, but just it's a reflection of the competitive fire he believes has dimmed. So that's food and fodder for all the Yankees fans that feel the same way. Which I mean, it's almost like, dude, you can't say the opposite in any way,
right?
Well, like you can say, yeah, the competitive fire has dimmed because when Steinbrenner was here, it was actually miserable and people were like hated it and it wasn't a good environment. But you can't say winning matters just as much now as it did then. But there's no way you can say that.
Well, it's, and we've had our weird spots in some of our Boone interviews where we've tried to depict that statement, and obviously he gets tough because in that statement you're saying you don't care about winning as much. And he'll pipe back and he'll be like, you think we don't care about winning? Like, what do you think we're trying to do every day? And it's that demeanor that tying this back to the Stanton quote of being like, yeah, it'll be a stain on his. And by the way, how about the other big fella's resume if they don't win a ring, being the New York Yankees? Well, what are people going to point at? Because not a lot of people have complained about the talent until the Dodgers, which are acting as the Yankees, winning World Series, signing the best players. Like they are doing what the Yankees did. That has been in the back of every Yankee fan's mind that lived through the George era. That you and we've even talked to some coworkers in the office about how, like, a couple of them were like, was George even that, like, beneficial as part of the run? Like, Gene Stick Michael gets a lot of, for bringing the talent in. And, like, people are like, all these homegrown Yankees, that's when the dynasty was really the dynasty, and those were Stick Michael and blah, blah. It's like, well, you can get corny with it if you want, if pressure makes diamonds, but like they're saying, like, that's how impactful George was. Like, every day you were looking for a quote or you were wondering if he was going to chew your ass out for, like, a single play, and the Yankees are so the opposite of that now.
Yes. I mean, just a note on George and like the bad part about it, but also the craziness to him. We recently, you mentioned Hideki Arabu,
yeah.
And we were filming like a short, and the famous quote George Steinbrenner called him. Now there's a bad word coming out. A fat pussy toad.
This is a quote.
It's a quote. That's what George Steinbrenner called him. Now we looked up, because someone in the office was like, did he really say that? And I was like, that's exactly what he said. So we Googled it, and do you know the context around when that quote was said?
I do not.
It was because he didn't cover first base in a spring training game.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was the first time those grouping of words had been used together.
Yeah, I don't know. I
FPT?
Maybe, because unless Steinbrenner was saying it all the time.
And that's, again, who the line between right and wrong with it, I guess. But should you be calling people that after not covering first in a spring training start? Maybe not. I don't know. I guess on the other side, if I slightly don't defend that one, then on the other end of the spectrum, when Boone doesn't say anything about a player making a mistake in a game that matters, I think that's problematic. I think both are problematic.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to find because there's more to the quote. Like, just those words came out of it. But it's a pretty funny. He said he looked like a fat pussy toad out there not covering first base.
I mean, we're fairly deep into the frog ecosystem, and that's not like a genotype or a phenotype I've heard from frogs before, or the toad.
That's crazy. Okay, Jeff Kent talks shit about A-Rod. I mean, the audio of this is funny if you haven't heard. I don't know if you have
It's
it,
good
Beans,
audio.
but I don't really much know. It's because it's during a broadcast.
Yeah.
And now Jazz is coming for his home run record, so.
Yeah. Keep talking.
It's your size, and he came in hard on you. And you survived it, but I think you got banged up a little bit. I think you went on the deal for a little bit.
Yeah, I did. He tore my knee up. He slid and rolled his fat ass past the base, the son of a bitch, and put me out for a little while. I was not happy about that because he was a middle infielder, and we were beating him up pretty good. He didn't need to be doing that.
So, not that you've thought about it much since then, but
that's half empty right there, John.
But that was the one time I do remember that a guy really came in hard on you. But
it was 1998. I think A-Rod was like 22 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
Young. Someone found the highlight of it, and he does roll his ass onto his knee. And then A-Rod gives him a boob squeeze, or all this Chapman grandma style. As he's laying there hurt, I think A-Rod's trying to be like, "You all right, buddy?" And gives him a little chest play, which probably added fuel to the fire for Kent, who was not, like, happy. Oof. That looks bad. And then watch this. Oh, they don't cut away. Just a little groping. Little gropes.
Just a little horn honk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because he could have spun the like fat ass part, just being like, goofy baseball guys. And then he rounded off with a good old son bitch.
It's really good. I mean, it's on air.
Yeah.
No care. All right. A couple off the field stuff before we close this out. The Yankees have overhauled their Japanese approach to acquiring Japanese stars. They've been shut out since Tanaka. They were in on Yamamoto. They were in on Ohtani. They were in on Yamamoto, and I think they were in on Roki. Like those three guys. They were never in on Amai. People keep reporting that they were never in on Amai, but those three they wanted, they didn't get. And I think Cashman said those days are long gone. We've missed, not for a lack of effort or money, on a number of guys coming from Japan because they preferred the West Coast. They preferred the Dodgers specifically. I think Ohtani has been great lore as well as the West Coast, but they're doing a lot about it. So they hired some new people that have been doing this for other teams. They hired Matt Slater from the Cardinals. He spent 18 years in a similar role for them. But do the Cardinals have a lot of Japanese players?
I mean, Nootbaar technically is, but I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think
he's got the new title of Global Player Acquisitions. Garza, head of international scouting, said he's very connected in Asia. That's something I think will be on the horizon. We're going to try to make more trips to Asia. We're going to try and be involved in markets that we maybe haven't been as involved in previously. And then the other one is Neo Masamoto. He's been the Cubs' secret weapon, and the Cubs have signed Japanese players. And they hired him and got him from the Cubs. He's been there for 20 years. He got them Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga. And I think because when Darvish was with the Cubs, he became really good friends with Darvish. So, I mean, the Japanese players are a huge market, not only in talent, but in like the advertising market. Like they used to have a Sapporo beer every time Matsui, Kuroda, Tanaka played, and like they don't have that. So I'm sure the business side of the Yankees saying like, yeah, let's get a guy. So hopefully that comes to fruition. I wouldn't expect it to for a couple of years.
Yeah, we'll see. Shota and Seiya, both free agents after the season, so that could put that in your back pocket if you want to. And yeah, the Yankees are losing on this front, so they needed to change their game plan.
They also did all the international like stuff in the DR and like all that part of the scouting. So they overhauled their international scouting team in all aspects, I think.
We think.
Good for them. This one's very quick, but there's a good article about Andy Pettitte being in camp. Gerrit Cole doing the hands over his head because of Pettitte. Pettitte's the pitching coach for Team USA. And there was just like a buzz about him, really leaning into coaching. So I don't know if I think they're trying to say there's a buzz about him returning to coaching, but I don't know if he wants to. I think he likes what he's doing. But it's nice to see Pettitte around.
Yeah, It'll be really interesting. He a couple combos we've had, people are like, no, it's not. He's not a figurehead. Like he is a pitching coach in part of this organization. And I don't know, Jim, what I would put in the other thing to put him back of everyone's heads. I just Googled this, and the internet's weird, and I admit that. Andy Pettit's kids' ages, his now youngest is 20. So I don't know, man. You
Getting
start
bored?
You start getting the empty nest, and you start. I don't know. We could see that role pick up, and like it genuinely has been a real role. Not Andy comes into. Andy visits the team for a day, massages some shoulders, and says pitch with some gusto. Like he's actually in it.
Yeah, he's checking in on them like he was like really in it with Fried, obviously, throughout the course of this season. There's been articles about that, so that's cool. I mean, Pettit's awesome.
Pettit's awesome.
John Sterling had a heart attack. That's fine.
His words.
That's yeah. Sorry,
His-
that's
not
his
your
words.
words, his words.
No, I mean John Sterling just has a very funny way of talking and delivering. He is doing well. So scary news. It happened in January, but we have the audio. I mean,
For this
Just-
situation, the audio is hilarious.
he's got away with words. It's his
Everything
job.
is, I say, good. For people who don't know, there isn't any reason to hide it. At the beginning of January, I had a heart attack, and that's fine. The heart is fine. Sometimes it affects your legs, and it's affected my legs. So I'm kind of waiting for the force to leave my legs, and I can get back out there.
Waiting for the force to leave his legs.
The force from the heart attack, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
how he's delivering that.
But only he could deliver that with the pacing of calling a game. It's like that's just how he speaks.
yeah.
Like almost like I had a heart attack. That's fine. That's almost like the 3-2.
Yeah.
Fouled back. But the legs.
He's John Sterling.
Yeah. And he said his 4 children have been very helpful. So, yeah, I mean, scary news. It's actually, I like the way he delivered it because it was like, I'm fine. It already happened. Don't worry about me. I'm glad it didn't come out when there was worrying. I mean, he's rather old.
For me, I'm fine.
Everything is, I say, good.
That's
Don't
good.
ask other people.
Yeah.
They might be nervous.
Imagine his doctor's just like, John, that's not what we said.
John, the force, what?
The force in your legs. No. Be good. Be good, John Sterling.
Be good. That's everything we got.
Boom.
Anything? We got one more week of spring training before World Baseball Classic starts, right?
Yeah, let's see. A week takes us to, March 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah, I'm almost struggling with the spring training games. I think I came to this conclusion last year. I was like, maybe they shouldn't be televised because I can't watch them and like Heel was pitching. And I texted you guys. I was like, I like his secondary stuff. His fastball is kind of scaring me, but it's his first spring start, and I shouldn't be even having these thoughts.
You can have those thoughts, and I think it's just you have to know it's with a layer of it could mean absolutely not. The spring speech we give, sometimes guys are working on their fastball. Like Heel could have been literally working on just location that day and not – we never know.
You never know.
But, you can have thoughts.
There's a new Trey Ambergy.
Oh, this is big.
Interested?
Well, actually, I don't know. You guys could be like, no, he's an actual prospect.
Okay.
Kennedy Corona, is that what I'm talking about?
Kennedy Corona, vintage. No, I'm not super well versed on my Kennedy Corona.
I think he's been
Kinda.
getting into games.
I think
There
they
was
signed him to like literally, and maybe this is rude, they signed him to fill the AAA roster out a little bit. Defensive specialist, has a little MLB time. I think he's a fair Ambergy.
He hit a home run. Oh, dude, the wind was blowing out so much in that game.
Mm.
Boone was on mic, and he did play-by-play of a home run, and he was like, well, that's going to get in the wind. It was a home run. But it was crazy. Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. I might be wrong, but Duke Ellis is, or maybe Tyler Hardman's the one I'm talking about.
Saw Duke Ellis catch a ball in center. I liked it.
He's gotten in 3 games. Tyler Hardman's gotten in 3 games. Yes. Okay, so it was this guy because he robbed Alonso, hit a homer. He had like a big day, but it was all later part of the game. That's a 3rd inning, actually.
This game he was in pretty early. It's a road trip.
Yeah. All right. So he's a new hero. How is Trey Amberger doing?
Kenny Corona from Venezuela.
Corona. Oh, I was going to say Corona, California.
So he's bopping with a couple of those boys. Yeah, the full lineup today, going to Philly. Basically, it's basically everyone but Stanton. So, yeah, it's kind of a fun little WBC early spring training perk.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Bibas is still on the team.
Yeah,
he's just
dog.
such an afterthought for me. Like, I saw he's like gotten the 2nd most at bats in spring, and I'm like, oh my God, are you still part of any equation? Not to be rude, but I just don't have you in any of my equations.
Right.
Technically, he's like out of options this year, has to make the team, or like they have to DFA him, and like he hasn't been a consideration for.
Oh, they'll trade him for something.
Righty catcher.
He'll be flipped for the righty catcher or outfielder or something.
I don't think they're doing righty catcher anymore.
Do you see your guy Palma go yard?
I did not.
That might have been the wind ball. Palma
power. Dude, the wind was pretty nuts to right. Go look up Kennedy Corona's home run. I think it was his. It was like a flare over the second baseman in front of the right fielder's head off the bat, and it carried.
That's his.
And that's
game.
rude. I'm
That's
being
his
dramatic.
game, yeah.
But it was similar. Like, it was like, no way that's a home run. I think it was him. I'm not positive.
Here's the pitch. Corona swinging a drive.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. He's excited.
Wind was going. All right. That's the Yanks. We'll be back. We might have a special guest on the next episode. Maybe. No promises. Things change all the time. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.